to get yourself through a race like this, and with the bumps and lumps that we...
career. Fantastic guy to work with, a brilliant racer, great ambassador for the MotoGP. Park Ferme yesterday as Valentino just makes sure that there's
brilliant support. The Austin
cycle at the head of the grid here today.
Is the pressure on Marquez?
The key may be the start.
Later on the grid, who'll be alive and kicking in a few moments' time, is Jack Miller. He's had a brilliant weekend.
So we'll do our best, try and manage the tyres the best we can, and
Pierce on us, hasn't he?
Well, it proves lucky for Tony. Tiger Tony to fruition here today. This is the situation and the tail of the tape, if you like.
Am I right? I hope so.
Maverick Vinales start. Well, he's going to be outside the top 10 by the end of lap. We'll dip back into downtown Austin.
Here, so try to be strong and all the laps, and 20 laps is gonna be tough, but
through qualifying, all through practice, it looked really...
Let's hope we can get a good start and see what happens in the race.
Okay, good luck.
Marc Marquez to prove us all wrong again, though, and go and blitz everyone, but I don't know. Chapter 3 starts now.
The circuit of the Americas for MotoGP coming your way. Front row, KTM's best ever MotoGP qualifying in 5th, with Maverick Vinales round. Bagnaia in Q2 for the first time yesterday. He rounds out row 4. They're on row 6. Row 7, the out of sorts in 2013, and this man has never been beaten. From 13th on that 5th row of the grid.
Buckle up. Lights out in Austin. A really good start from Cal Crutchlow in 3rd place. Rossi's challenging as well. They've got the inside line on Marquez, but he is last.
To that first corner, but he was sharp on the brakes. Marquez exactly where he wanted to be. The doors here in COTA, where we heard that a few times in the past before. So it's as you were for the top 4 in qualifying. 0.3 of a second. A little bit further back down the pack there was Andrea Dovizioso, who's in that 7th place now. It's been a stellar first lap by Dovizioso. He had to get his gloves off. He's come out swinging as the Vinales would not have expected that. Espargaro was out the seat coming through turns 17 and 18. That was a big moment for the KTM man, who's slipping back from that best ever KTM qualifying in 5th.
There is Paul Espargaro.
Can't get into his rhythm, can't click into top gear yet. Vinales, same old story for the Top Gun.
On board now with Marc Marquez, and Valentino Rossi is not going to be dropped. Not today, not just yet anyway, in the early stages. Is there any way through for smooth? Dovizioso was quick this morning in warm-up. He got into a good rhythm, obviously found a decent setup. It's working a treat for him.
Nothing going right now for Jorge Lorenzo. He's down in 14th place now. He's just been passed by. His good start to the year's over. He's crashed at turn 14, back at the front. Marc Marquez in position A, just where he wants to be. P1, he'll come over the line at the end of lap 2. 2:04.529. Marquez already asking some tough questions of Rossi, or the gap in lap times between Rossi and Vinales. Vinales is 0.7 of a second slower than Rossi. Again, it's that age-old problem.
It is, yeah. Rossi just can't get close enough at the moment.
It's great grip in the second half of the race. The Suzuki doesn't burn up its tyres. Tyre choice will be critical here. Jack Miller, just how long he can keep that grip in that soft rear tyre and that soft front as well. 10th out of Rossi already on this lap. The gap now up to 1.2 seconds. At this stage of the race, there's nothing that they've got on the table for Marquez at all.
We come around then to complete the 3rd lap, and you're going to have to, it'll be interesting to see that one back, but after what happened in Argentina with Cal Crutchlow, you almost think a precedence was set there.
Well, yeah, this is going to be a political hot potato kicked around in race control again. There's a technical problem, so Vinales and Mir jump the start.
Valentino Rossi there, losing out 2/10 on Marc Marquez on that back straight, just out of acceleration more than anything else. Jack Miller seems to have regrouped.
Well, nightmare for Vinales, an absolute disaster. He wasn't exactly pulling up trees in 7th place, but he's got to come in for a ride-through penalty. He would have seen that, or he should have seen that now being communicated on his Crutchlow and Miller at bay.
On board now with Marc Marquez then, with a 1.5 second lead in his back pocket. Can Crutchlow find a way through on Rossi? Could he maybe eat into that lead, or is Marquez turn 11 trying to find a way through on Valentino Rossi and just pushing it a bit too much? So this time around, no joy for Crutchlow, but he's going to have a look. He's very close to Rossi there on the brakes at turn 12.
In Argentina.
Based on the pace from yesterday, the 4 riders that we expected to see fighting for the podium are on your screens. Rossi, Crutchlow, Miller, Rins. Not now.
And what's going on with Vinales? Because he's come over the line again now. He's at a 2:10.034 this time round. He's now 12th. This is the high-def Cal Crutchlow said.
Oh, it's Crutchlow! Crutchlow's gone out of the race. He's trying to find a way past Valentino Rossi, and after the disaster in Argentina, how costly is that for Cal? He's bad. The podium battle is down to 3 riders. The last 2 places between now Rossi, Miller and Rins. Further back, Franco Morbidelli has gone up into 5th place. Great job from the Italian.
Well, slow speed, high definition footage of the Vinales jump start as well. Mir was undoubtedly moving. Oh, Vinales
he took the penalty loop. He does
2:08 and then a 2:10. I mean, this is an absolute moving.
That's a jump start as well.
He's moving. I mean,
and he's taken 2 penalties.
Would have been told in his dashboard a ride-through penalty. So I don't understand for the life of me why he was coming in the long lap lane.
No, that's a bit of a heads gone moment, really, isn't it, for Maverick Vinales, and that. I mean, it will be pretty.
He's up to over 3 seconds. 2:04.511 that time around for Marquez. 4/10 quicker than Rossi. Jack Miller took 3/10 out of Rossi on that previous lap. Of course, Jack Miller's only ever championship calendar. It's going to be a battle of the fittest in the last 5 or 6 laps. Fabio Quartararo all weekend's been saying to the media, dreading the last 5 laps. You've got to use so much energy, expend so.
Second. No one really able to make any big moves at the moment, but it could be coming a bit later on. In the background, Morbidelli still leads. A little battle going on for 5th ahead of Dovizioso here this weekend. He's beating both of the factory Ducatis right now.
Well, and he's doing what he needs to do. He's giving Paolo Ciabatti, Gigi Dall'Igna and a few other men in the upper echelons of Ducati a bit of a headache here because weeks.
Valentino Rossi's just gapped slightly Jack Miller here on this lap. He's just got a couple of extra tenths in his back pocket. This is Marc Marquez, though. I think the frightening thing for the opposition at the moment, Matt, is that
tidy for the majority of this year. That was a costly mistake by Jack Miller. Alex Rins didn't have to work that hard for 3rd place. So what has Jack Miller got in response? What is...
Oh, Marquez has crashed! Oh my goodness me! The commentary curse! We said he was going squeaky clean. I heard the noise from the crowd. I can't believe it. Marc Marquez is not going to be winning in Austin. Will it be Valentino Rossi? Will it be Rins? Will it be Miller?
Comedy of errors there by Marquez, the biggest one of which he's lost his proud record. There will be no magnificent 7th successive victory here in COTA. There will be no 13th victory in a row. Had he won today, he'd have been the first rider since the legendary Giacomo Agostini to have won 13 successive races in the same nation. That was Agostini in Finland.
And Kenny Roberts, 2 of the most famous motorcycle racing heroes and champions of America, are in Rossi's side of the garage.
Well, it's a day for the old dogs and legends. Tiger Woods has triumphed in the US Masters Golf Tournament. What a double story this would be. Valentino Rossi, there's still 10 laps to go. But here he is leading at the circuit of the Americas.
He might have a job on here, Matt. The silky smooth Rins, 10th by 10th, is getting into contention. There's a heck of a lot of race left here. It's 5.5 kilometres around this Austin circuit, and there are 10 laps to go. We've only just reached half distance.
The soft front tyre, soft rear tyre choice for Jack Miller's not paying dividends. It looks like Miller's already encountering some grip issues.
Can't downshift at all. There's a problem. There was a mechanical issue for him yesterday. There's another one for him here as well. He's livid. Repsol Honda will leave the USA. His chain's not gone again, has it?
I was just going to say, I'm trying to desperately see if the chain's jump the sprocket again.
In the meantime, a smart cookie, isn't he, Andrea Dovizioso, and he won't do anything too silly there either. Well, I say that. I don't want to give any more commentary curses out here today. It's been ridiculous so far. All sorts of drama in MotoGP. Rossi fans are holding their breath for a top 10 as well.
Rossi's just dropped into the 205s for the first time in this Grand Prix. A 205.103. Alex Rins behind him was just marginally the faster man on a 2 on the Suzuki. It's such an agile, manoeuvrable motorcycle, and that's what that first sector is all about. You need to be flicking it from side to side at high speed. Rins, it's advantage him in sector 1, that's for sure.
Well, if you watch the slow-mos all weekend into turn, talking about how he hasn't had any moments, he's not had anything like any warnings there, really, all weekend. I mean, he's had a couple of moments where he's gone straight on, but like you say, that didn't look like it was going to go wrong.
Lap times are plummeting here as we get into the business end of this COTA Grand Prix.
Alex Rins, who continues to stalk and shadow the 9-time world champion.
Well, this time 2 weeks ago, Valentino Rossi had not had a podium in 259 days, all the way back to the Sachsenring in Germany, and here he now stands on the brink of a famous victory.
2016. Jack Miller, of course, if he was to pick up the pieces of anything that happened between these two, we all know he won in 2016 in Assen in that amazing race. But this is really intriguing because Rins is lining something up here through the tight and twisty stadium section. Not a lot in it here. Rossi perhaps just marginally edging it, but it's so the very final corner. He's quick there. This is, of course, where Rins is really closing up on Rossi.
And this is about, Steve, who's got the better rear grip. 5 laps to go. Two completely different tales here. The Yamaha at this stage of races, normally they run out of grip, they drop off a cliff. What happens with the Suzuki? It gets stronger, it gets faster. This is going to be fascinating. Have Yamaha
we saw it going at all?
Well, is Rossi just starting to suffer that age-old problem of the rear grip? Because at the moment, Alex Rins looks like, well, he is swarming all over the rear tyre of Rossi. Rins is in position A here. He will...
On a day where Tiger Woods wins the Masters, and one of the greatest comebacks in sporting history, is Valentino Rossi going to send one home for the old dogs? Oh, here comes Rins, just on cue. Rins has found a gap. The door was open. That was silky smooth. Oh, Rins was really late, although Rossi's going to have a look here. It's a bit last-minute stuff. He can't get it stopped. Rins goes through, and that could be costly for Valentino Rossi.
That smacked of desperation already from Valentino Rossi. Rossi knows that Rins has got the better rear grip here. Rossi knows that Rins can break away. That was just Rossi over Valentino Rossi, and we're dropping down now into the second corner. This is the part of the circuit where the Suzuki's been supreme all weekend. Here is Jack Miller then in third place, a lonely third. He will not care about that. On course for his first
Two world champion. We're on board here though with Rossi. He's half a second down on Alex Rins.
Got to say, fair play to Rossi. He's ridden superbly. He's not letting this one go without an almighty fight. Yes, we should say Marc Marquez, a reminder. Until test here for Alex Rins. He's never been in this situation before in MotoGP. He's never going to have a better chance to win his first race as a Premier Class rider. But when you've got a 9-time world champion of the class, quality and calibre of Valentino Rossi putting the pressure on behind you.
Winning a GP race, he's going to have about 6/10 over Valentino Rossi on the line to try and defend.
Oh dear, they can barely watch, can they? In the Suzuki garage, and here we go, last lap underway for Alex Rins. Just 5 kilometres now away from one of the highlights of his Grand.
More than that if he's going to win. Rins has got to make sure that turn 12 is squeaky clean. He does, but he's really careful through there.
Rossi was unbelievable on the brakes going into turn number 12. He gained a whole bunch of metres and time on Alex Rins.
He's getting closer and closer.
That would open his pocket. One corner left now for Valentino Rossi. It looks like a famous win for Suzuki and Alex Rins.
The checkered flag is out here in Austin. Rins exits perfectly and he wins his first ever MotoGP race. The factory Suzuki rider has done it, and Valentino Rossi finishes in second. What a ride by them, and Miller takes his first podium since Assen 2016.
To this man, Alex Rins, from 7th place on the grid. It's a hat-trick of wins here at COTA for him. He's got the full set now in all 3 World Championship classes. Brilliant, brilliant way to hold off the pressure being put on by Brivio, as you'd expect. Barely able to speak. Great get there, Simon Cross.
2013. He did it in Moto 2 as well in 2016, and now
a day that young man will never forget, and he is right in that championship battle as well. Top Ducati.
3 very popular figures in Parc Ferme here right now. Great to see.
Alex Rins. Like Petrucci, Steve, he was nowhere. 21 on it. It wore pretty aggressively throughout the race. He just about fended it.
Would love to hear his comments.
He did actually say, Matt, in his debrief, well, that man fits well and truly into that category. Here in cowboy country, over the trophy. That's a great moment. Ross is saying, get on the podium, Kevin. GP to the 23-year-old Barca race. What a third round of the championship, and what a day for Alex Franco Morbidelli with Petrucci, Quartararo, Polispargo, great.